Guys, I am truly sorry to reignite this conversation again, but I have to because have you guys seen the video of Trump right now at the 9/11 ceremony? Wait a minute.
Yo!
You're like a fucking dweeb. You're a cornball.
Sandra D. Teague. Lieutenant Carl
What is going on
W.
with this
Tepe,
side of his face?
United States Army retired.
He can't stay awake, but also, like, what?
Tamara C. Thurman, United States Army.
Now he's bobbing?
Pathetic ass, dweeb ass, dork ass loser.
Lieutenant Commander Otis V. Tolbert, United States Navy.
Why is this side of his mouth drooping?
Yo!
You can see that, right?
Staff Sergeant Willie Q. Troy.
Falling asleep. He's falling asleep.
Specialist Chin Sun Pack Wells, United States Army.
Oh, woke himself up. Look at his mouth.
Staff Sergeant Maudlin A. White, United States Army. Sandra L. White.
I'm sorry, but that is not a healthy man, right? Like, why is his mouth drooping so much? Like, it looks like, I'm sorry to be right, but it looks like my theory about these, like, small strokes. Because what is that? It looks like facial paralysis on one side. And he cannot keep himself awake. He keeps bobbing to try to keep himself awake and, like, shaking it off. Like, he's not well. Something is wrong with him.
You know, in first responder and CPR courses, they teach you what to look for in a person suffering from a stroke. It's always a drooping on one side of the face.
Did Fat King Donnie just have a stroke in the middle of the 9/11 memorial reading that they do every year? Every year on 9/11, they read the names of the victims at the World Trade Center site. It pains me that he's there for that because on 9/11, he called, on the actual 9/11, 24 years ago, he called into a radio station and announced that now that the World Trade Center had collapsed, his buildings were going to be the tallest in the city, in Manhattan. He never went down to Ground Zero to help. Hillary Clinton did, but Fat King Donnie did not. He's not a good person, never has been. And now he's either had a stroke in the middle of this ceremony or he's dozing. He finds it so boring, he's just napping through it. He is a fucking embarrassment, and there's a reason that New York has never voted for him. This is his home state. He's a Queens boy, and he's fucking hated here. When the home team hates you that much, that tells you something. And look at Melania giving him shitty looks. She knows. She knows he's a piece of shit. She doesn't even want to be sitting next to him. I'm so tired of idiots running this country. Jesus Christ.
So this is a still of that I actually cleaned up a little bit because it was blurry when you zoomed in on this thing, but you can see that the right side of his face here is drooping. You can see it in his eye and in his cheek, and his whole head is listing to his right side. Now, I am not a doctor. I don't know exactly what's going on here. Somebody tag a doctor if you see this video to say this is something that the president should be seeing a doctor for or might already be seeing a doctor for. Now, as far as I know, nobody has been able to get an answer on this from the White House, myself included. I have already reached out to their press office, but have not heard back yet. But those pictures would seem to indicate the president is not well.
Donald Trump had a small little stroke. He looked exactly like my grandma did, but she looked like that permanently after her major stroke. And that's why they used AI to make that statement about Charlie Kirk and why President McDroopyface was, well, President McDroopyface. Now, I'm not a doctor, but all the signs can't be good for him. This, along with the bruising and the cankles, he's always had slurred speech. By the way, I would just want to say, during his first term, he was a little better. Maybe because he had a health secretary that cared about health. And now he's probably following the advice of his current health secretary. I mean, it just makes sense.
As you can clearly see from that clip, he is showing his age, and that is undeniable. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, Donald Trump is too old to be the president of the United States. He's barely able to stay awake at important events, and now it appears that his face is drooping off to one side. This is not a good look. Additionally, many rumors are circulating that this announcement Donald Trump made yesterday appears to be generated by AI. Many people are referring to his hands and how they stay suspiciously still and then randomly glitch at one point in the video. However, this has not been confirmed. But that is the actual thumbnail the White House account posted on the YouTube channel. I mean, that picture looks like it's AI to me. With all that being said, I think it's pretty obvious that the White House would not tell the general public if Donald Trump did actually have a stroke.
Did Donald Trump suffer multiple strokes this month? The ongoing mystery around his actual health is something that has come under a magnifying glass, particularly today because his face appears to be drooping to one side, which according to medical experts is a telltale sign of a stroke, which is according to laymen, we all know that that's a sign of a stroke. But the fact that he put out an AI video in which we now know it wasn't him, his fingers are disappearing in the video, his shoulders don't move, his hands don't move. The speech and appearance that he gave today, he does not look great. And when he's not talking and his voice is a bit lower, he's talking a bit slower, he's less animated, but his mouth is physically, his face and his mouth are drooping to one side. I'd posit that if we can have a president that can put out AI statements, is he fit to be president? If we don't know why Trump disappeared 2 weeks ago, everybody was writing about in the news from September 1st to September 5th about him having strokes because he went to the hospital. What is he fit? There have been several reports, there have been several conspiracy theories, there have been several write-ups, there's so much coverage about whether he was alive or dead, whether it's him or body double, whether it's AI or it's a real person, whether he's sick or whether he's healthy. If this was Biden, imagine Biden disappearing for 3 days and coming back with a stroke face. The Republicans would be calling for his impeachment yesterday. So you guys tell me what you think about Trump's health.
Okay, I figured it's about time I address this, because I have had several people come into my comments and claim that Trump is wearing an LVAD. And yes, I know what an LVAD is. I used to work on a cardiac floor at a hospital. It's for people with massive heart problems because their heart can't pump the blood on its own. And many people have circulated this video saying that they think he has an LVAD tucked under his jacket. But there's a few problems with this. First of all, if that big bulky pack was in his jacket, you'd be able to see it when he was walking or when he was standing there, and you couldn't really. While you can see certain creases in his shirt, they don't really look like the thick wires that they would usually have. Now, many LVADs just have the pouch that's on the side, which you can tell from Trump the way he had his belt in his jacket. You didn't see that. Many of them traditionally also have the packs at the side, which is what most people are claiming they think they saw, but he didn't have any big wires or the other pack attached to him. These things are complicated and they are not easy to hide under a suit. But the biggest problem with people's suspicion is that Trump was last seen midday Tuesday, and then he came back for his press conference the following Tuesday. Most people post-op after an LVAD surgery have to be in the hospital for like 2 to 3 weeks. And they don't even recover to the point where they can walk around for almost a month. So in the shape that he's in, this is saying that Trump would have had to have gone to the hospital on Tuesday, been diagnosed as needing an LVAD and getting that surgery on Tuesday night, and then he still was able to somehow make it to a press conference a week later. For how much of a fragile man he already is, I don't see that happening. And also, once they are able to walk around, those battery packs last anywhere from 4 to 8 hours, and in some extreme cases about 12 hours. But they always have to carry batteries with them, and if not, they have to be plugged in. So he's not going to be able to make long meetings with diplomats, and if the battery gets low, it beeps loudly, and he definitely doesn't want that happening during a public press conference. So while many people are claiming this is an LVAD, it's not entirely impossible, but it doesn't really make sense. And in my opinion, that's a good thing, because once a person gets put on an LVAD, they can be on that thing successfully for years, which puts Donnie further away from his expiration date.
The president's congestive heart failure is getting worse. I'm a home health physical therapist with a doctorate in my field. I see congestive heart failure patients on a daily basis. The reason I know that he has congestive heart failure is because of the swelling in his feet and ankles. And the reason I know it's getting worse is because he's sitting behind the desk on camera now. He lashed out against MSNBC for giving him hash about his ankles. This is how we know that something is true, because it gets to Trump. Remember recently where he was talking about going to heaven for some fucking reason? He says, people said I'm not doing very well. I don't think he's talking about the media. I think he's talking about the doctors who are treating him. The only reason his health has been maintained at all is because he has the privilege of getting IV diuretics, spironolactone, Lasix, Bumex, something like that. That's why his hands have been bruised and covered with makeup. Badly, I might add. We know that it's getting worse because he knows he cannot hide the degree of swelling. That's why he's sitting behind the desk. Oh, he also has chronic kidney disease, which is also contributing to the swelling in the feet and ankles. I can't tell you how many times I have seen a patient in their home because they were hospitalized for AKI, or acute kidney injury. And the kidney injury was caused by nephrotoxic medications, namely diuretics, spironolactone, Bumex, Lasix. The president is definitely getting sicker, and we know he's not going to change his diet because he's such a fucking idiot. I think he's going to be around for 6 to 8 months tops. Thank you for your attention to this matter.